Looks like he's happy enough. Our finals are finally underway. It's a gemstone mine. Down to 2. And we see a careful study and a faithless looting, I believe.
And it looks like Jimmy kept a Daze, a Delver, and 5 lands. Or at least it appears very land heavy from here.
Careful study is resolving. We'll see what's going into the graveyard here. Troll, bridge. And time to draw. It looks like exactly what you said. Tarmogoyf's waves the draw step. It's a risky keep.
Yeah, this is the type of hand that Jimmy's just got to get away from. I mean, even if you against a blind opponent, you know, you don't know what you're playing against. I think it's hard to justify keeping this hand because Sultai Delver runs on so little resources. What are you doing with all this extra mana? But when you know you're playing against Dredge. Oh, never mind. He did have a Death Ray. Okay.
That changes it.
Yep.
Yeah. So I thought I saw the same thing that you did.
I thought it just looked like Delver and some lands, basically.
Well, Deathray does make it basically an auto keeper against Dredge. Especially when you're on the draw. You're not really going to get much better than that outside of Force of Will. Here's a Dredge for 6. So here we go. Nicarid, a Thug, a Lion's Eye Diamond, a Bridge, a Putrid Imp, and a Plains, which is the proxy for the card that was the issue. So we will...
Stinkweed Imp.
Yep, we'll see that it is a Stinkweed Imp. That takes care of the problem. Yeah, turning over Plains is like, what on earth?
And a game loss.
I'm fairly sure that's not my deck, but there's a proxy for what looks to be a relatively warped foil, so did make a way around it. Cruz is going to take a look at the graveyard here, see exactly what he has to worry about. Again, Icarid down there looks like a bridge too, so it does get a little scary.
Jimmy giving a long read here to Icarid.
Yeah, it might be the first time. See the 3/1 haster. Remove a black card to bring it back. But 2 bridges down there right now. Looks like he might be looking for the Oracle text on one of these cards to see exactly what it does.
All right, looks like we are moving along.
There's a careful study. That's going to get a dazed. So the dazed does look pretty nice here.
Yep. Now this is a really powerful opening here. Deathray plus a.
Daze the draw.
And that's really, really, really bad for Joseph. So it looks like he's likely to dredge and then faithless looting. And now the second days will cold that line of play. And then Joseph will have to start taking draw steps looking for mana. And since Jimmy can't really cut him off of dredging, I suppose what he can do is get rid of the Icarid, because the Icarid is what allows the bridge to get going.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation, right, where you can take out the big dredger and eat the Stinkweed Imp. That's what it looks like he's going to do. So he'll eat that card for good. And the only dredger there is a Thug. And that can't do, in theory, a lot of damage. It's only 4 cards, but there are some crazy dredges available.
I still think the Icarid is the unique element of that graveyard. It allows him to do something with bridge. It also allows him to do something with Cabal Therapy if that gets flipped over. So I would have gone after that card, I believe.
Icarid's going to come back, it looks like here. Dredging 4 cards. A Narcomoeba among them. Hello.
Okay.
That's 2 of those. And now Deathray Shaman is being overpowered a little bit here.
Although Joseph might have to run this game on no mana. Not to say that's possible for Dredge to do, but because he has no discard outlet in play, he has no Putrid Imp, it's potentially dangerous.
Try again with careful study. I think that's going to get dazed probably. There's a Thug down there. Thug might just be reason enough.
Yeah, I'm not letting this resolve. There's nothing to be gained.
That's dazed. But again, if you're Joseph, that's okay. You have 2 bridges down there. You've got zombies coming. You've got fuel for Icrid. Can't ask for a ton more.
Yep. And again, this is why I thought the Icrid was the card Jimmy needs to get rid of first. Because, you know, you can't cut Joseph off of dredging. But the Icrid allows Joseph to get a little bit of momentum.
There's a Thug down there to dredge with. And then there'll be 2 triggers.
So when these 2 bridge triggers resolve, this Icrid will get converted into 2 zombies.
Yep. And this is the big interaction for the deck.
Yep.
The combination of Icrid and bridge from below.
The problem for Joseph here long term is he has no discard outlet in play, no mana available.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically, what he's got is what he's got, right? Like, he's got an Icrid that can potentially come back. I mean, I have a feeling Deathrite Shaman may just go after it soon.
And I think Jimmy may be coming to the realization of, am I just going to play a land and need something and say go again?
Yeah.
You can get the feeling that he's getting a little overwhelmed.
That might be the first time he's played against Dredge or seen bridge from below before, too.
Yeah, I mean, he's reading and rereading a lot of the stuff, and the interactions are, to put it charitably, not intuitive.
You're being kind late this evening. They kind of just are what they are.
Yep.
Thug, the only dredger down there. And Icrid looks to be the biggest problem card along with the bridge from belows.
Well, the Deathrite can't touch the bridge, so the best thing you can do is go after the Icarids.
And Jimmy's pace of play is pretty slow here. I mean, he might be on the verge of a slow play warning.
Okay, going to make some mana.
Yep, there's a Tarmogoyf. That's going to block the road.
But this is a pretty big win here for Joseph. Another shot of Icarid. And another dredge.
A tough spot here. There's an imp to remove, so there's an imp to remove for the Icrid, and then there's a Thug, so.
Yep.
See, Tarmogoyf's a 4/5. Little interesting thing too here is if he wants to try to draw a card, 'cause I think he has another copy of Faithless Looting in hand. So maybe he wants to try to draw and spike a land, or is he better off just dredging?
I think he's better off dredging. The odds that he hits are so low.
Yep.
Yeah, I like doing this. I think it's Joseph's best route.
A Lion's Eye Diamond, a Manic Influence, a Cabal Therapy, and an Archamoeba.
I was about to say you would have ripped a Lion's Eye Diamond, which would have been awesome.
Yeah,
but
actually would have been pretty good.
Getting an Archamoeba and a Cabal Therapy is not a bad consolation prize.
Yeah. So Thug back in the grip.
Though he did not flip over another dredger.
Yeah, I mean, he's working in draw step territory now.
Yeah.
He can therapy himself.
But that's tough to do because of the Deathrite Shaman that's active.
Yep, true too. Everybody. Tarmogoyf. How? Eat a zombie. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points of damage are going to come through. Cruz down to 11.
A testament to the power of Dredge here that at turn 1, Deathrite Shaman and 2 dazes, Joseph with no lands, and he's doing just fine.
He's doing great, as far as I'm concerned. If he wants to flashback a therapy, I think is the question. If he does he want to sacrifice his Icrid, which would die anyway, or does he want to sacrifice Narcomoeba? Narcomoeba actually being a flyer is quite relevant here.
Yeah.
I think that decision is actually pretty difficult.
Because the Icrid dies anyway, so that's always going to be 2 zombies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think Joseph rather might just be saying I need flyers.
Yeah, flyers are good.
Yep.
Because Tarmogoyf is trying to block the road here, so 2 more zombies. And he's going to target himself. Get 2 thugs.
I like getting the 2 thugs here because 1 to dredge and 1 to get back in Icrid with.
And also, this kind of forces Jimmy's hand right now too.
Yeah.
If he wants to remove 1, make some dedicated mana. I suppose a world does exist where Jimmy could force of will this therapy. Might be past that point now.
Well, I mean, Joseph's revealing his hand. It feels like we've gone past
Joseph kind of shortcutted a little bit, assuming it would resolve, but Cruz going to draw a card. It's got to be a ponder. So thugs and bridges.
Still the 2 dredgers, the Icrid, and the 2 bridges of note down there.
And here's a ponder. 2, and there's a 3rd one. Stifle among the cards. Stifle has some interesting applications in this matchup. Nothing crazy. Gonna draw a copy of Brainstorm.
It almost feels like Jimmy doesn't have the time to be casting cantrips, though. He's almost priced into using his Deathrite Shaman every single turn to keep Joseph's graveyard contained. He also needs to develop his board further. So normally Brainstorm a no-brainer to keep, but even 1 mana is not something that Jimmy really has that much of a luxury to afford right now.
It's actually kind of interesting that, this particular draw from Moreno, he's been able to overpower Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah.
It certainly helps that he was on the play this game. I don't know if he'd be able to do it on the draw.
No, I think turn 1 Deathrite Shaman on the play with some days as backup, Joseph's not going to be able to get through that. I guess looking for some more help.
So 3 to the grip, 2 going back.
And this is the type of turn that I just don't think Jimmy has the time for.
A setup turn.
Cantrip to cantrip.
Yeah. Looks like he's going to activate Deathrite to remove a land. Maybe to cast a Delver of Secrets. And there's another Deathrite. So not a Delver. Remove the Manic Influence.
But this is a turn that Joseph, I'm sure, is happy with.
Yeah, for sure. He's got to keep working, though. He's freed up to basically do whatever he wants. There is a Force of Will on the other side of the table. There's also a Daze, too. So, oddly enough, there are some hard counters over there, but he gets to do free stuff.
I'm pretty sure Joseph's not going to be trying to cast any spells for the rest of the game.
Try to grind you into a pulp.
Just run it straight out of the graveyard.
Yep, there's a removal. Icrid's going to come back. And I would be surprised not to see a dredge here because I think the best thing that you can find is a bridge from below. Or like the 4th Narcomoeba.
Yep. Well, he might want to say, I'll take a draw step in hopes that if I mana plus to leave something in my graveyard to Icrid next turn, but looking at this many cards, you're going to find something good.
Another Icrid and a Cabal Therapy. And I think those actually are good. So I wouldn't be unhappy.
Yeah, as long as he found a black creature to replace the thug he's getting back, then he's happy because it means Icrid keeps on getting to come back.
And attacking here is a little interesting, just how you should go about doing it. Because if a zombie gets blocked by Deathrite Shaman, the bridges will bite the dust. So there's that aspect of it. But I like this.
This is too much damage.
Yeah, you just have to keep shoving in. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage going to come across.
Not just the Necromoebas alone or lethal.
Yeah. A trigger from the bridge. So he's going to get 2 zombies from this too, because he gets to stack. He gets to stack the way the bridges go. So as long as he stacks it correctly, he gets 2 zombies, and then the bridges leave. And he just did that. He'll lose that zombie. And if he actually wants to Cabal Therapy here, he can. I don't know if it has much of a reason to, because, you know, what are you scared of?
Well, there is the question of, would you rather have a 1/1 in the air, or the bridges are gone? Yeah. So now, yeah, there's no real incentive. I think you just say go. I'm not even sure the card you would be concerned about in the list. It's not like there's a Toxic Deluge, you know, some weirdo.
That stuff's not there. No Maelstrom Pulse. So there's Icarid down there, then Icarid to remove for the Icarid.
Yeah.
Icarid for Icarid for Icarid. With all these creatures out here, he's at a virtual 5 right now because of Deathrite Shaman.
Well, that assumes he has a mana to spare.
Yeah, a mana left over to activate it. You've got him at a virtual 5. The safest way to say it, okay, he's at 5 in best case scenario.
Yeah.
So can Joseph kind of bully over for more damage? You know, 3 damage in the air means he's at a virtual 2, right?
Correct. And there's 4 zombies against 2 blockers.
Yeah. So that's what, if I'm in Jimmy's position, that's the kind of math that I'm doing in that situation. Hey, radio the judge and tell him that, like, he should be watching this a little bit, because this should be, like, at least, you need to say something. That's part of it. Here's a Delver.
And the problem is that Deathrite Shaman cannot block and stop an Icarid from coming back.
Yep. Icarid gonna eat Icarid.
And nothing to dredge. The Dark Blast, I suppose you can get back.
And I would be dredging if I could. I don't think a draw step has a lot of value here. Didn't get a great look at his draw. Because I think it's important, like, if the game happens to go more turns, that you just find another black creature.
Exactly.
But here's an attack with everything. So, block the 3 biggest creatures. And gain 2 life.
And that's not enough.
Yep. Yep, there it is. Joseph Moreno going to win game number 1 here over Jimmy Cruz. Dredge up a game over Sultai Delver. As we're going to come back to the booth, as it is time for our last trivia question for the evening. Full year.
Entire year, 12 months.
I hope you have a tough question ready.
Sure, I can have one ready.
Okay.
Relatively difficult.
I felt like I took you by surprise.
No.
Hashtag SCG Premium. Make sure you're following at SCG Live, of course.
It was a question, and I was trying to take it seriously.
Okay. I do appreciate that. He's got your 12-month question. He's taking it very seriously.
Grand Prix, New Jersey, again, 2 weeks away. We're very excited about this event. What are the dates of the events? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Give us the full 3 days.
All 3 or you lose.
Or you lose.
2 is not good enough. We need 3.
Right. It's a 3-day event.
I'll give you a hint. It's in November.
2 weeks from now.
It's kind of on you from there.
You answer the question, you know, however you need to go to this, magictv.com. Always get more information that way.
Pull up a calendar.
Calendar is really easily available, most of you. However you want to answer the question. But
you're watching it on a computer. The calendar is in the corner.
Right. You can right-click. Usually it brings up a clock and a calendar. You can find that pretty easily. However you want to run it. But all 3 days, because it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event. Remember, we have the Deck Tech Friday night with CVM and BD. They'll be doing a live versus video, variety of side events. So we consider this a 3-day event.
Hashtag SCG Premium. We'll announce the conclusion of our match. Take a look at the sideboards here. A funky one for Dredge. A normal one here for Sultai. There's 2 Graph Triggers cages, which are going to play a huge role here, I think.
Yeah, 2 Graph Triggers cages. And besides that, not a lot going on. I mean, the additional copies of Spell Pierce, I think, are good but not great. But I think Graph Triggers cages is his big upgrade in the matchup. On Joseph's side, 3 Lowe's Pels, 2 Tormod Scripts, an Ashen Rider, 3 Abrupt Decays, 2 Firestorms, an Iona, a Draw Return, 2 copies of City of Brass. I like bringing in the Abrupt Decays, and I like bringing in the Firestorms to give him more answers to Deathrite Shaman and just creatures in general.
I still think Dredge favored.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy's sideboard is not that hateful here. Though if he was on the play, I think that game's very different.
It's so backwards that Dredge is doing well when Treasure Cruise is doing well.
Like I said, the hate cards you want for the two things are very different.
Yeah. Yeah, I just figured, people would just go, all right, rest in peace, enough of this. Or something that's just kind of just shuts the door on graveyards in general.
I guess, but, rest in peace when you're getting hit by Delver Secrets. It's not really a card you want to be drawing. So I don't think it's as simple as, well, you just knock out the graveyard and you're done with all of it.
I guess it's probably a good thing it's not that simple either. That'd be kind of lame if it was. Try to stay open-minded about these sort of things.
Yep.
Let's see what we can put together. Don't forget, next weekend we are in Columbus, where I have a feeling our standard format's going to look a lot different.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
just maybe.
Yeah, it's going to be a very different format now.
Just a smidge.
Ivan's win was it was dominant performance. His top 8, top 4 in finals matches, the deck was on full display. It came out of nowhere. And
crushed
to
it.
me, clearly, I'm not saying it's the best deck going forward. I'm not saying people can't adjust, but to me, there's no question that was the best deck in the room this weekend in Standard.
I don't even think it's arguable.
We watch tournaments all the time where it's, someone wins at the end of them.
Yep.
And it's, if you ran the tournament back, there'd be different results. The matchups that people got in the top 8, random breaks the call on the day. You run the exact same tournament back, you're going to get different winners. This Standard Open felt like if you ran it back, Ivan would have won a considerable percentage of the time.
A percentage of the time that is just mind-boggling to think about.
Yeah.
I think where it's I think he would win a couple of times if we did this tournament.
Yep.
And we watched him on camera quite a few times, and there were some fortunate draw steps, but his deck is capable of that.
Correct.
And that's also something that Jeskai Ascendancy causes to happen. So it is really something. You mentioned we're going to probably see a lot of noise about that deck for the next week.
I think so too.
And all sorts of articles and videos and all that stuff.
And I think there's still room for improvement too.
Yeah, which is easily the scariest part. Is that deck can be changed and improved, and we'll see if players can get used to all the triggers the way that he did it. That was probably the most impressive thing of everything to me.
Yep.
It's just the knowledge of this resolves and all this stuff and all the tracking, because there are so many triggers to remember with the deck.
Exactly. Bring some dice. Get some practice.
I will give him some credit. The way that he kind of kept track of everything, leaving the Defiant Strikes there and all that stuff, it seemed like he'd been doing it for a while, even though he just kind of picked it up that day.
It was easier for him and his opponents that way, I'm sure.
Yeah, it had to be. So we'll see if we do see more of that next week. And really the question is how much. The other thing that's really appealing about the deck is it's so cheap.
Right. I mean, the lands maybe are expensive, but there's no mythics. None of the spells in the deck are rare even, I think. It's all Jeskai Ascendancy.
Jeskai Ascendancy is it.
That's it.
The rest of the creatures are just mishmash.
Yep.
You have those in your box, it's just lying around.
If you've been drafting over the last year and a half, you have these cards lying around.
Yeah. So that's appealing about the deck too. Well, I think what might steer people away is it is a little difficult to play.
It did not look simple,
No.
to put it mildly.
The turn where he let his entire board get destroyed by Doomlake Giants, I don't even think I could have done that.
Well, he didn't even really hesitate. It wasn't like he sat there and thought about it for a while. Just put his stuff in the graveyard, untap, and killed him.
Yeah. That was impressive stuff. If you guys haven't had the chance to watch it, you definitely should. It was a very, very impressive win of our Standard Open. Modern Miracu was won today a little bit earlier too, so only one tournament left to go. And it's the finals here.
Mm-hmm.
With Dredge up a game.
And we'll see how aggressive Jimmy is looking to be with his mulligans. Because it's easy getting this trap of, I got a Delver, I got a Tarmogoyf, I got a Cantrip, we're good to go. Looks like he's found Grafdigger's Cage, which means his hand's almost certainly a keep.
Especially on the play.
Yeah. Now keep in mind, Joseph is informed they have each other's deck lists.
Yep.
Because of Grafdigger's Cage and because of Deathrite Shaman, I'd be stunned if Joseph has not brought in his Abrupt Decays.
Both players going to keep. There's the cage. Oh, he didn't seem too happy about that. Yikes.
What do you want to do, Joseph? He kept 7.
Yeah. He kept 7. You know they're in the sideboard, and that's a card worth keeping a hand over all by itself. Grave Troll to draw.
The problem with Gravedigger's Cage is Joseph can get a graveyard set up at least with his Dredger. So if he's able to find an Abrupt Decay, he just breaks out, and it can be really bad news for Jimmy.
I mean, it's a hard card to beat, but it's not lights out depending on how your deck is built. There's Lotus Petal. And those in the sideboard. To accelerate himself a little on the draw.
I also think he just needs a little more colored mana to facilitate things like Abrupt Decay.
Faithless Looting, for example. See if this resolves. It does. So 2 cards coming. 2 cards going to go to the bin. Two Grave Trolls. Excuse me, Grave Troll looks like a Narcomoeba potentially. Don't have a great look at that card. Might just be 2 Grave Trolls though. There's some lines on him. Jeez. Are we just moving?
Oh.
All right, he's going to slow down.
Yeah, I don't think he can move just yet
Yeah.
because then the Gravedigger's Cage
It plays a role.
is all sorts of trouble.
Yeah, pump the brakes just a little bit. This is a Brainstorm. So 3 cards coming.
Looks like Deathrite Shaman among them.
That's a goodie.
Looking at a Golgari Charm and a Force Will, looks like he's putting back.
There's Delta. Make it a perfect one. We'll see what land Jimmy wants to search up.
Just kind of hit me right now how much the new polluted Delta artwork looks like Creeping Tar Pit.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was a Creeping Tar Pit. The little hologram at the bottom tipped me off that something was amiss.
I don't know what it is. Just I can understand how it looks like. It doesn't look like Creeping Tar Pit that much to me, but I can understand where the confusion can come from.
It's just, some dark bubbling things.
I have just some sort of crazy photographic memory with cards. I can spot a tar pit a mile away because it's been beating me to death for years. Firestorm.
Okay.
Kablooey.
I guess Joseph has to take draw steps until he finds an Abrupt Decay.
I guess Dredge can't work through Cage when it's on the table. There's in some roundabout way, I guess.
If he had Abrupt Decay in his hand, he could go about his business setting up a graveyard and then breaking it and then doing things. But, until that happens, not a lot to be done.
He's got the Firestorm. This will be for 2.
So with Firestorm, you have to choose X targets to discard X cards. So he has to discard 2, which means he's targeting the Deathrite Shaman and most likely Jimmy.
Say to Mirror Charm the draw. Delver Secrets. Deathrite Shaman. Shrug. Good draw. That's all you can say. Bridge from below. Not a good draw. Something to discard to careful study. See if this resolves. Yep. 1, 2. Dread Return. And Bridge from below are going to be discarded. Gemstone Mine going to come into play. This is one of those dredge hands that has failed,
Correct.
to say the least.
He's got nothing going on.
Yeah.
No way to break up this cage. He just has to take draw steps, and he's going to get killed quickly, and his graveyard's going to be under further attack through Deathrite Shaman.
Cruz going to untap and draw a card here. Take a look with Delver. There's Force of Will.
Yep.
No more. Going to concede
All right,
right now.
Joseph, you just got some You just got some points in my book.
Oh,
Instead of just trying to, draw stinkweed imps and thugs and battle it out, just willing to let it go. Go on to game 3. It's okay.
getting over with Patrick Sullivan.
A concession when things are hopeless, I don't see enough of it on camera, man. People just love to play out these games where there's 0% to win, or effectively 0%. You can just move on with life. You can just go play another game,
I'd like to meet old Patrick who played every game out back when you were.
I don't think that was.
qualifying for Pro
I
Tours.
would have to talk to my friends about that because I don't know if I was necessarily objective, but I feel like I probably didn't concede as quickly as I do now,
Okay,
but I still conceded plenty quickly.
I'm out of here. I think that Patrick is still in there somewhere.
That's why I never liked Shahrazad as a design because it's unnecessary. It's like we play a sub game and then we go back to the original game, and then someone in the original game has an edge depending on what happened in the sub game. You know what you can just do instead? Play another freaking game. You just have someone play the game and then you play another game, and the Shahrazad is not necessary. Just play 2 games instead of 1.
You feel very strongly about this.
I do. There's just no need.
So if I was to restart a game with Karn Liberated, would you concede or would you play
Depends what you're restarting it with.
a land?
I'm likely to concede.
A single land.
I would probably play it out against a single land.
Okay. A wall?
Conceding.
I don't even know what wall it would be.
Wall of Roots, Wall of Blossoms.
No.
Wall of Stone. I don't know. I can't beat any of those cards. Whatever.
None of those cards. What's the ugly wall? What's the green wall? Like that ugly, ridiculous wall?
Wall of Ice.
Oh, there's like a really bad one I can't think of. It's not wall. It's not
wall
wall of wood.
Wall of Wood.
Might be wall of wood.
The 0-3 blocker for 1.
Come and get it.
Yep.
What if it was a wood elemental?
How big?
I'll make an 0-1 maybe?
You can't make it an 0-1.
Okay. Can it be a 1-1?
XX, yeah.
1-1.
I'd keep playing.
Nice. I found it.
Yep.
Woody
I would still play.
elemental.
I would play against a Wall of Wood because you can just draw a bolt and kill a Wall of Wood.
Nice. That's good design.
Yeah.
The lightning bolt kills the wall. That's good design.
I don't know. I guess lightning bolts knock down trees all the time.
Yeah, that's good design. If there was an 0-4 and you just couldn't bolt it, that's bad design.
Right.
They got that right. I don't know if that was intentional, but they got it right.
Probably not.
If I started the game with a hornet's nest.
Conceding for sure.
Okay.
Because that's humiliating. You want to know what my fastest concession was in a tournament?
I think I know that it was spell Skype, but go
No,
ahead.
it was not.
No.
Not
Okay.
good. Opponent goes on the play, turn 1 Noble Hierarch.
Okay.
I go turn 1 Tattermunge Maniac.
Good card.
Opponent goes land Kitchen Finks. I draw and concede.
No more?
No more. I'm done.
Why?
Well, because I know what happens is I attack, and then there's this humiliating process where my opponent tanks because they decide, do I block this or do I ignore it? Do I block it and kill it and gain more life and still have a thing left over? Or is this too bad to even trade with like 1/3 of a Kitchen Finks? I don't just want to sit there while my opponent's putting their hand out and scratching their head, wondering about which way they want to blow me out. Rather just go on living my life, There's no reason for it.
What if they do that game 2?
What do you mean?
What if the same sequence of events happens in game number 2?
That was game 2.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me, my apologies.
I was up a game, and then that.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I
Nice.
was happy to let that one go. This was a Grand Prix that I flew to. It wasn't even like this was a local tournament. I flew to a Grand Prix and this happened.
You were invested.
Because I just got to go on living my life. I can't be sitting there waiting for my opponent to contemplate whether or not they're going to block my Tattermunge Maniac with their Kitchen Finks. I refuse.
I can respect that. I can. I've played out some games to the bitter end for no reason. Wish I could probably have the time back, maybe.
Right. Jimmy looking like he's going down to 5 cards here. Don't know if these are lands and spells mulligans or if these are aggressive mulligans, but Joseph keeping 7 here. Jimmy's got to find specific cards.
Yeah. It's interesting. Dredge is a deck that mulligans a lot, and it's a deck that forces the opponent to mulligan a lot because they're looking for certain cards, though those certain cards are quite good.
And now the problem is once you mulligan to 5, even Force of Will, which is one of your cards, not really one of your cards anymore.
Demonic Influence. I see a Lion's Eye Diamond. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
this resolves. This could get ugly. That's a careful study.
And Faithless Looting already in hand, so this could be, turn 1, dump over half my graveyard.
There's a bridge. Does he have a dredger? Yes.
Oh, yeah. The Thug.
The smallest one. Lion's Eye Diamond.
But we've seen Joseph put in some work with Golgari Thug this tournament.
We are not messing around this game. We are going for it. And I love it.
His breakthrough.
And a Faithless Looting.
Jeez.
We can't pump the brakes now.
Yeah, we've gone this far. Your opponent's on 5 cards.
Breakthrough. Yeah. It's time to dredge a Thug. 1 is a careful study. 2, breakthrough. 3, therapy. 4 is a gemstone mine. So 2, 3, 4. He's got to discard the hand now.
Remember that he gets another crack at this because he has a Faithless Looting and a Lion's Eye Diamond.
Yep.
And it looks like he's found some dredger, so.
I think those are Icarids. Because he discarded, Thug was in his hand, so he
Okay.
had to discard that. Yeah, so it's a Faithless Looting, an Archimedes, 2 Icarids, so he's only got a Thug to work with. And though I do like probably flashing back Faithless Looting, even though he is short 1 Archimedes now.
I don't think he needs to flash back the Faithless Looting this turn because he has the land plus the second Lion's Eye Diamond he can play against a Daze next turn. So I think he can just dredge over the Thug, see what happens. I don't think he needs to make a push this turn.
You're so conservative.
All right.
I'm moving. Yeah,
All right, sweet.
I'm moving in.
Never mind me.
Come and get it. I know he's got Spell Pierces in his board. Let's go.
Sure. Oh, and there's Stinky.
Yeah.
Now we got something going.
It's getting disgusting. Another Stinky. I think he may have turned it another Faithless Looting. Here's 5 cards. A couple Firestorms, Dread Return, Cabal Therapy. No Narcomoebas.
Well, if we Faithless Looting this time, I want to run it back.
Yes, there you go. That's the attitude you got to have. Yeah, there's another Faithless Looting. You just rolled right by it.
Keep it going. Don't stop till you get enough.
Yeah, there it is. See a Stinkweed Imp, Dread Return down there. He's got 3 Narcomoebas left in the deck. It's not like he's got to worry about Tormod's Crypt. He can't do much about Cage anyway, so use this for red mana. Flashback. Stinky. 5 cards. Therapy. Faithless. Stinky. Faithless. Grave Troll. Somebody needs Narcomoebas.
Yep.
They need them now. 6 cards. Lion's Eye. Coliseum. Therapy. Bridge. Lion's Eye. Knocking the deck. Not an Narcomoeba. Oh boy.
So he did get to flip over a lot of his deck.
I mean, I still think he's okay.
Yeah. But now, I mean, if Jimmy just has a land and slaps down a Grafdigger's Cage,
A little awkward.
Joseph has no recourse.
Yeah.
He has no mana, no cards, no hands.
Cruz is going to draw a card. It's a good slow roll. That's a good sweat. Tarmogoyf. Polluted Delta. Underground Sea. That's probably over half the deck from Moreno in the graveyard.
Yeah.
What do we have? I think it's just a Delver. Yep. Sigh of relief.
Yeah, exactly. Joseph knows if it's a cage, he's done for.
Yeah. There's that smile. There's that smile. Icarids. Black creatures to remove.
No, we got some Stinkies. We got some Thugs.
There are some Stinkies. There's a Thug. Checking again just to make sure it doesn't miss anything.
Yeah, get that
there's a
Stinkweed
Stinky.
in proxy out of there.
Now there is a Grave Troll. The proxy there due to a warped foil. 6 cards. Petal, Narcomoeba, Gemstone, Coliseum, Thug. Well, 1 Narcomoeba is better than no Narcomoeba.
Yep. Now Joseph's really got the ball rolling here.
He's got a Dread Return down there too. I think there's 2 bridges down there. There's not another Grave Troll, unfortunately, for him. Because he could return a Grave Troll. That would be really big.
Exactly. This deck, you know, the Sultai Delver deck, the only removal spells are abrupt decays.
Yep. And,
Can't
he knows that.
Yep, can't touch the trolls.
There's therapy.
No random murderous cuts hanging out over there.
I'd like to name a card. As there are 2 zombies from the bridge triggers.
Probably, I'm guessing Force of Will, although we didn't see it last turn.
Yep. We'll see who he's targeting and what he'll be naming. See the hand of Dark Blast, Tarmogoyf, Wasteland, and Tropical Island. The name was Disfigure.
Which I guess makes sense because it's the card he's most worried about, and I guess he's just not believing that Jimmy has Force of Will because he allowed Joseph to flip over 60% of his deck on turn 1.
Just this Dark Blast is a little bit interesting because it can kill the Delver Secrets, and that removes the bridges.
But again, we're in a spot where Joseph already has a board.
Yeah, so he's probably okay with that exchange. I do like getting rid of the Tarmogoyf. It's big and in the way. He's got another therapy.
And it's a freebie to get rid of it.
Yeah. If I was in his spot, get that thing out of here. Gonna sacrifice Narcomoeba. 2 more zombies. I told you Dredge would win.
Okay.
Yeah, I called it at the beginning. Dredge is going to come back and win. Here comes Icarid. I don't think I could have ever predicted this deck doing this well this weekend. I just thought the hate for Treasure Cruise would be overwhelming.
Yep. I mean, there's an argument for that, but I think Dredges play against different cards.
Yeah. The bridges are gone, but there are 6 zombies in play. It's turn 2, mind you.
And now even if Jimmy rips, say, a Tarmogoyf, it's too much pressure. With the Icarids in the graveyard.
Yeah. You have a Dark Blast, a Wasteland, and Tropical Island. I don't even know if there's a sequence of draws, honestly. He's got 1 therapy in the bin. I think a world does exist where he says, therapy myself. Yep, that's what I thought he might do. Therapy myself. Yep, nail that. Sacrifice these. Get a big Grave Troll. He can't do anything about it.
Exactly. There's no removal spell, no murderous cut hanging out in this deck. Joseph has been, I mean, he's been really sharp.
By my count, an 8-8. Maybe a 9-9, but they'll count the creatures. There goes the Dread Return. Yeah, it looks like an 8-8 to me, but
Yeah, I count 8, but we'll see.
Big 9-9, sure.
Sure. It's all the same. Okay, so that was my second turn.
You're up.
Okay. Ooh, Wasteland.
There is a target. In theory, that's a good draw. Get you.
Bang, no more mana for you.
Take that, tough guy. Couple Icarids, huh? NBD.
Yeah, this is lethal.
10, 12, 13, 14, 16, 18, 19. I think you forgot about the Dark Blast.
Oh, sure. Okay, if he wants to do that, I guess.
Dread Stinky.
I suppose if Jimmy is really dead set on playing 1 more turn.
Light you up, Mr. Icarid.
This is the spot where I would have conceded.
Yeah, this is the...
For the record.
Yeah. This is Tattermuch Maniac all over again.
Yeah. Come on, top deck.
He's going to snap him off. Icarid's gone. In just a moment. Cruz down to 3.
Yep.
Yep, my Icarid's dead. Your turn. Terminus. Days. Concession. Joseph Moreno going to win this match and the tournament. In a face full of treasure cruises, it is Dredge that gets it done.
Been a long time since we saw this deck take down a tournament.
Yep.
Very long time. And most of the builds that we see in the top 8 star are the manaless builds of Dredge.
Yep.
It's been definitely more frequent than the more classic, lands and Lion's Eye Diamond construction. But Joseph getting it done, as you mentioned, in a field where you anticipate more graveyard hate than usual in response to Treasure Cruise.